When I first got the Leica D-Lux 8, I was a bit disappointed. I felt it was slow, limited, and honestly, just not worth it. It's been 8 months since I've owned this camera, and I can honestly say I was wrong. Let me go ahead and rewind and take you back to my first impressions on this camera. First off, the zoom, it's painfully slow. I mean so slow that if you're fiddling around with it while you're trying to capture your shot and your subject is moving, you're not going to get it. Secondly, the aspect ratio dial, it just seemed in the beginning like a bit of a gimmick to me. Of course, the aspect ratio dial settings are only going to apply to the JPEGs anyway. And other than the black and white high contrast, who's going to use JPEGs straight out of this camera? Especially without Leica Lux being included. That's right, no Leica Lux for JPEG shooters. However, you do now have an option to apply a look after the fact in the Leica Photos app. There's more. The touchscreen, it always seemed overly sensitive to me. I was constantly shifting around the focus points by accident. Another thing is it's not made in Germany, which stings a little bit when having a Leica price tag. And most important of all, it just did not give me the warm fuzzy feelings I get when opening a new camera. This was more of a feeling of, oh no, what have I done? Buyer's remorse. I even thought about doing a giveaway with it. But then something happened. I kept using it. I started leaving my beloved Fuji X100V at home, and the D-Lux 8 started coming with me everywhere. Not only did I stop bringing the X100V, but I actually sold it. And I was okay doing so. And I can tell you, if you've seen this channel before, you know I absolutely love that camera and I thought I would never sell it. Now, am I saying that the D-Lux 8 is a better camera? No. But I did find myself gravitating to it. And as I started using it, I started getting it. I started using the zoom. I got used to the layout. And that little 17 megapixel sensor, it produces beautiful images. The build quality is fantastic, it's solid, the buttons and dials feel good too. And it does resemble a Leica Q, so it does have the looks, it just doesn't have Leica Lux. There's other things like the menu system. It's like the menu system on my M's. It's intuitive and familiar. I've customized the buttons and user profiles exactly how I like them. A couple things to note if you pick up one of these cameras or you want to buy it. You definitely want to set up your user profiles, and you can make all the adjustments you want on the camera. And right here is user profiles. You can switch between the profiles. I have a black and white setup and also a color. I usually keep the settings pretty similar depending on the shooting conditions. Okay, so after you've made all your adjustments to save a profile, all you would do is just go in and go to page 4, go down to user profile, and you'll go down to manage profiles. Save as, and you can save it as one of your profiles. Then to quickly access your profiles, you would just push the menu button one time, brings you to the main page here, and then you can just simply select, and you're set up with your presets. Super simple. Another thing is you can customize the buttons here. See, I've customized this one because of the touchscreen. I can leave it like that. Problem is I would accidentally be bumping this all over. Another thing to note is you see that small focus point there. When you see those red arrows, you can dial it up and make it larger, which is very nice. I like that feature. Okay, so I've got this to shut the screen off and go to the EVF. But if you press and hold, it will give you options. So you can choose what you want that button set up for. I leave it here so that way I can just take the screen and shut it off, conserve the battery. Now, when I say I've taken this camera with me everywhere, I mean pretty much everywhere. I have it in the bag with me at all times. Now, I pretty much have an M with me almost all of the time too. It dawned on me when I was getting ready for the B&H Build Expo up in New York, when I was packing my cameras and trying to figure out which cameras I was going to bring. I was trying to keep it down to just 2 cameras. I ended up taking, I think, 5 cameras. But the D-Lux 8 made it in the bag, and I thought to myself, yeah, it's official. I love this camera. Now, when we got to the vessel, I realized very quickly that the 35mm on my Leica M11P was just a little too tight to get the shots that I wanted to get there. Luckily, I had the D-Lux 8 in the bag, I believe this is a 24-70 equivalent, but having that little wider option in the bag was fantastic. And yes, I have absolutely grown to love it. I'm glad I didn't return it. I'm glad that I didn't give it away. Now, I may still do something with the giveaway, maybe a 10K giveaway or something like that, but maybe I'll buy one because I just don't see myself getting rid of this thing anytime soon. Unless Leica brings out a 9 and it's got all of those things resolved, then maybe I'll give this camera away. Other than that, it's gonna stay right with me all the time. And one more thing before we go, if you're curious about this beautiful camera strap I have on here, this is by Owl Crown. Now, Owl Crown makes camera straps for every budget. They have point and shoot options like this. They also happen to have my most favorite camera strap on the market today, and that is called the Trail Flex. The Trail Flex is an adjustable strap from 32 all the way to 58 inches. You can adjust it anywhere in between those settings at any time just by simply pulling the strap. I do have a 10% discount code in the description below if you want to check them out for yourself. Use my link and my discount code. I would greatly appreciate it. It does help the channel out. Now with that, there are some things I would change, like the zoom. It's still too slow and it can cost you spontaneous shots. No built-in flash, which means carrying the external one, and let's be honest, most people won't. And I still don't understand why Leica did not include Leica Lux. In my opinion, this is the most important camera for them to put it on to be able to compete with the Fuji X100 and Ricoh's GR series. I think that most point and shoot users don't want to edit their photos and they want to be able to see what their image is going to look like before they take it. I still prefer the M system when I want that full immersive experience. But for daily use, as a family camera, as a vacation camera, a quick grab and go, point and shoot, the D-Lux 8, it's almost perfect. And I mean it. Leica, if you're listening, add Leica Lux in a firmware update, speed up that zoom in a firmware update, and on the next version, the D-Lux 9, give us a tilt screen and maybe even an APS-C sensor. Now, D-Lux 8 is not an M, but for a point and shoot, it's reliable, it's fun. It's grown into be one of my most used cameras. If this video was helpful, give it a like, subscribe if you're not already. I'll go ahead and link that original Buyer's Remorse video for you right here. Other than that, let me say thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.